Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Ann Varillo here with StampWithAnn.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Auburn, New York. How is everybody doing today? It is Wednesday. What day is it? July 16th. Oh my God, where is July going? I can't believe it's just going so fast. It seems like after July 4th, it's like it just disappears on us. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing good and having a great week. I am sharing the second card in my weekly card class kit to go featuring the Adventure Together bundle. And this was a January online exclusive this year, which I have finally gotten around to crafting with. So I'm excited to share the second card. And this was one that let's see, I cased it, of course. Sometimes I need a little help. But I cased it from, I'm gonna mess this up so bad, guys. Maheswari Rajaguru from My Stamp Garden. And she is from Australia. She's a wonderful artist. She's an artisan for the Stampin' Up! Team. And I love her work. It's very different from what I typically do, but I do love to challenge myself, and I was really drawn to this project that I'm going to share with you today. So anyways, if you're not familiar with my weekly card class kit to go, if you make a purchase in my online store for $45, I send you a kit to make 6 cards. So that's 2 of each design. Typically, I do 3 cards or 2 cards in one 3D project, but I supply you with all the product to be able to put the cards together. So that includes, I cut the designer series paper, I include the cut cardstock, I include any dies you know that I've used that aren't part of the bundle. There's a lot of times that if I'm previewing or showing a bundle that's out of stock, like I did last week, I actually went ahead and did die cut those things that were featured in that bundle only because it was out of stock. So, and I wanted you guys to be able to make the cards. So, anyways, hi Claudia from Germany. So, anyways, we've got 2 more cards left. The one that I'm going to share today, and then Friday is a fun fold card. So I won't be live on Friday. I'm going to post my video, though, the same time at 11 because my husband and I both have eye doctor's appointments at 11 o'clock, so I won't be able to go live. But anyways, I will post the video. And you really want to catch that video because it's a real cute fun fold. I'm going to show it to you today. But it's like a lock and slide feature on it, so it's cool. So let's get started. Oh, before I start, if you're watching me on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe and then hit the little bell notification button so you get notified when I go live or when I post videos. And same thing for my Facebook page. If you aren't following me on Facebook, go ahead and give me a follow. And as always, as you're watching live or watching the replay, leave me a comment. I love to know where you guys are watching from, and throw in what the weather is like there too. It's 84 right now. It's 11 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm excited. I want to go sit out on the patio today, look at the lake. So anyways, let's get started. I'm going to pop you down to my craft table. All right. And before I jump in, just a little reminder, it is the 16th. On the 19th, my subscription card club, it's Craft and Create Club. It's a subscription-based club. There's more information down in the link down there. Hi, Angie from Minnesota and raining. I know there's been a lot of rain coming. Hasn't hit us yet, but it's gonna. But anyways, my Craft and Create Club is a monthly subscription. I make I design 4 projects, and you get the supplies to make 8 of those projects. So I just want to show you a quick sneak peek on this. I'm using the Boho Vibes. It's actually the Sunshine Vibes bundle. But this is a cute little fun fold. Isn't that cute? And then this is another one, real cute. I think I did almost all the flip cards. This one is another one, Hello Darling. I love that. And I think this one's my favorite. Sending Good Vibes. I thought it was just super cute. And then on the inside with the little sun. So anyways, you can get more information. There's a link down below about my club, and join us. We have a lot of fun. So as I mentioned, I'm working with the Adventure Together die bundle, and I was really attracted to this because my son and my daughter-in-law, they love camping. They've got a little teardrop camper, so they're very into it, and that's what inspired me to pick this up so I can make them cards. But anyways, this is the one we're using. I'm going to need those dies because we're going to do some die cutting. But let's show you the cards real quick. This is the card we made on Monday. Yes, I cased it from Carol Buckaloo. She did one early January, and hers was just so adorable. But I wanted to mimic that green because I'm going to send this to my kids. But I thought that was really super cute. So that was the one we did on Monday. This is the one we're going to do today. A little bit different design from me. And then just blank on the inside. And then this is the cute little fun fold we're going to make Friday. Happy Campers. And this is a lock and slide. I guess that's what you call it. So this little mechanism, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You just lock it in place and slide it in. Oops, I didn't slide it. Here, let me slide it in. I did this on Monday, and then I couldn't get it back together. But you can. I think. Maybe not. Okay, we'll just set that aside like I did on Monday. Okay, so this is the one we're going to make today. I'll put that down here in the frame. In your kit, you're going to get everything you need to create the card. I do give you the envelopes as well. I know sometimes some of my Stampin' Up! Demonstrator friends aren't including envelopes because the cost did go up, but you got to have the envelopes. You can't send a card without an envelope. So these are all the little pieces, and I already went ahead and did this. This is embossed with the Wow embossing powder, the white, and then stamped with Versamark ink. But I'm going to show you how we cut that up. Okay, so let's get started. Put all my little supplies out here. So this is crushed curry cardstock, and we're just going to burnish this fold line real good here. Get that. And then what I did here was I embossed this with the Birchwood 3D embossing folder. So, and I don't know, you can't really tell very good on the camera, but I went ahead and roughed up these edges, and I did that. You can do it with your bone folder or your scissors. Well, actually, before we do that, we gotta do some blending. That's right. Let me get my thing here, and I gotta jump and get my 2 blending brushes. Let me grab those. Let's see, Mossy and this one. So one of the things that really adds a lot to your projects is, you can see here, I added some ink onto this embossing folder. It's very subtle, but it does add a bit more to the project. So let's go ahead and do that. First I used the crushed curry. If I can get that opened. And I just took my blending brush here and added some of that ink. Now this is crushed curry on crushed curry, so you're not going to be seeing it a lot. So you want to add a decent amount to get that. And I'm kind of coming down here to the ends and the top because that's where you're going to see it more. So it is tone on tone again, so you're not gonna really capture a whole lot of it. But I just keep on going over the ends here, and you'll be able to see. I'll show you a closer view. You can already see it coming to shape right here and right here. So we'll just add a little bit more. And then I'm going to come in. Now I applied a decent amount of pressure with this brush because it is tone on tone. All right. Oh, I got the wrong brush. Darn it. I want my cherry cobbler brush. Hold on. I wasn't prepared. Cherry cobbler. Okay. So that was crushed curry. Oh, and here's my cherry cobbler right here. Now I'm going to go much lighter on this because you see how dark that comes out. I just want to add just a little bit. So I'm very lightly. I was giving it a lot of pressure on the other one, but I just very lightly going over this. So that's all I'm going to add to that. Now I added a little bit more here. You can see from here that, oh, somebody is mowing their lawn out there, that it's very subtle. This is probably going to be a bit more, but when you put your, when you layer that, you see you've got a little bit of what did I do? Gee whiz. Do I have another thing? Actually, I don't think, oh, I do. Is that the same size? It is, look at me. So you don't want to get ink, on your card. So we're gonna let that sit over there. I'm just gonna add a little bit more here. Okay, I think we're done with that. All right, now let's go ahead and we're going to, I'm gonna need that in a minute. We're gonna go ahead and rough up these edges. So all I did here was take my paper snips and I'm just roughing up those edges a bit, okay? You can come in on top of it. You see, you can rough it up as much as you like, and that's just gonna fall down there. And I kind of come in at an angle. Yes, Angie, I know. I could stamp over it. I could. I probably would have had I not had another one, because you can see here, you wouldn't even have been able to tell that I smudged it. I know. It's a secret of a stamper, right? So anyways, you can really dig into these. It depends on how much you want to show those rough edges. Now, if you go out and look for, I can't say her name, Maheswari. I knew I would mess that up. Go to her website, My Stamp Garden. She's got some gorgeous designs, and she does this technique quite a bit. And I'm not, I'm pretty, like, I don't know, I guess you call basic in my card designs. So I like to, every now and then, come in with a little bit something different, because my style is pretty basic and simple. So we're just going to rough that up a little bit more. There we go. Let me just push this all aside here. Okay, and then for the corners, I've kind of just taken my bone folder and I've put that up like this. And you want to do the same with this one, just a little bit, because we're gonna layer these. And you can bend it as much as you want. You can leave it straight if you'd like. But I felt that this, you know, I was really casing her project, and this is how she had it. And it just adds a little bit more dimension to the project. So just like that. So let's go ahead and adhere this. I'm just going to use my glue. Now you're not going to put glue there because that's sticking up. So we're just going to come in here, add that glue. Right to the front. And we're going to adhere this. And I just want to get that. And in your PDF, when you get the kit, I give you a PDF, so it's got all the measurements and all the steps on how to put it together. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to stamp this part. So let's go ahead and do that. Now let's see, I've got my trees, and I need the smaller one too. We're gonna start with our crushed curry. I love how it's kind of like a forest of different colors, right? And I did forget one other thing. I'm gonna grab it as soon as I'm done stamping all of this. So we're going to go ahead and stamp my trees. I'm just going to I don't want to do too much stamping down here because this is where the campfire is. So we're just creating a little scene. I'm going to come over on this side. And then I'm going to take the smaller tree and I'll put one in the middle here. Okay, I'll wrap this up. Let me scrub this off. And then we will use, let's see, I'm going to come in with my cherry cobbler. I used the big one. Did I get all the ink off of that? No, I didn't. Clean that again. Gotta get the ink off. Oops. So here's our cherry cobbler. And I'm just kind of stamping randomly here. I'll give it two big stamps for the cherry cobbler. Clean that off real good. Especially the red, you want to make sure you get that off. And then we'll come in with some Mossy Meadow. We're going to stamp this a couple times. So again, I'm stamping right over here. Let's stamp it up here. I'm going to use my smaller one. Stamp it over here. We stamp one right over here. Okay, and then we're going to add in some Old Olive, or moss, yeah, Old Olive. Oh. Oh, might as well clean this one while I've got it out. Hi, Linda. How are you? You're finally catching up on my lives. Good for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and stamp a couple more in Old Olive. Put that aside. And now I'm just using the smaller tree. And I think I'm just going to add one more over here probably. Let's see. There. Okay, now the little trick that I did, that's why I'm going to run over and get my other tool. Clean those off. It's a cute set, yes. I love this set. When I was young, my parents took us camping. I have 3 older brothers, and back in the day, that's really all they could afford. So we went camping a lot when we lived in California. So, and plus my son and his daughter love this camping thing. So I thought, I'm gonna get this set. Okay, hold on. I gotta run and get my sponge daubers. So I'm gonna show you what I did here. I used this one and I used this one. So what I've done, and you can kind of see it in here, is I've taken a little bit of crushed curry. Gotta open it again. Ugh. Okay. I put my little sponge dauber on. And I'm just gonna sponge off. See, that comes out pretty dark, so you just wanna be careful. But I'm just gonna sponge the background in a bit. You guys are probably familiar with me that I don't like a lot of white, like space, especially when you're building something like this. So you kind of want to add a little bit of ink there. And then I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to use my Old Olive. And I might just use just a little bit more. Okay. Same thing here with my dauber. I'm just gonna kind of put some of that ink around there. Just like that. Okay, so it kind of gives it that little feel of maybe grass down there near your campsite. Okay, now here comes the fun part. This week's cards, I'm telling you, there's lots of coloring and lots of die cutting, but it's fun. That's what really makes it pop. Okay, where are my stamps? I need this stamp, and I think that's it for right now. Now you guys could do the chairs. You can do opposite side stamping. So you would use your silicone mat and stamp it, and then take the paper over it and rub onto it. I didn't do that. I just have the 2 chairs kind of in front of the fireplace. And then we're going to have our little fireplace. Okay. So that's that. Let me clean these off real quick. I'm going to put this back together. My kids are planning one of their big camping trips for the middle of August. So I'm going to send them that first card I made on Monday to tell them to have a fun time. So we're going to do our 2 chairs here in blue. So I've got Misty Moonlight, and I've got some light balmy blue. So I'm using both the lights right now, and I'm going to use, I don't have my glasses on. Just kind of highlighting these lines here on the chairs with that light Misty Moonlight. And then I'll come in and I'm just going to add a little bit of color. I'm using the brush tip for this now. Just a little bit, because we're going to blend. We're going to blend some of this. I might pop in some dark which I will. Got to work a little faster when you're with this ink, because you want it to blend real good. Just trying to get my sides here. Let me go up with this one. You could do it all in Misty Moonlight if you wanted to, but I thought just this little bit of shading here, and I went out of the line there. You can't tell. Okay, so those are the chairs. Now the little fireplace, we're going to use cherry cobbler and crumb cake. So I've got this. This is the this is the dark crumb cake, and I'm just going to take that around this side here, that little line. You went to all of the girls' Lutheran camps when you were little and you loved it? Yes. I loved camping. I mean, when I was little. But my dad was pretty hardcore camper. We had a tent. At one point, we did get a camper, which was fun. Okay, that's our crumb cake. And then I'm going to come in here with the dark cherry cobbler. This is pretty dark, so we're just gonna highlight those lines. And then I'll come in with the light. We would go to Lake Tahoe in California. That was one of the big places we would go. Okay. And now for the flame, I'm going to use a little bit of that light, but let's do light pumpkin pie. And then I'm going to go over it with the dark. You can tell that I'm not going on the outside of the flames, because I'm going to add a little bit of the cherry cobbler in there. Just a little bit. And this one is my light cherry cobbler. But I just want to come in here, these little flames, and kind of add a little bit of heat to it. Isn't that cute? Hi, Joan from Washington. Okay, so those are our little pieces, and we're going to go ahead and die cut these out. My little boho. I do need my dies, so let's grab those. We've got the chair here. Let's see, we need this one, and we need this one. I think that's all I need. Yeah. And I will use my tape here. Grab these. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape these to the side here, because I don't want them moving around. So there's one, do that one. And then here's our little fireplace. If I can get it. There we go. Make that go up a little bit. And I'll tape that one down too. And we'll put it on our sandwich plate here. And we'll just run this through real quick. Yeah, I thought it was cute, Joan. It's a little bit different design for me, but I was very attracted to it. It was funny because when I first saw this design on Pinterest, somebody had pinned it, but they didn't, there was no watermark on it. And I kept on looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I think I know who did that. And so I went and looked up our artisan design team. And sure enough, I found out who it was. And she's very talented. Very talented. Okay, let me run that through one more time. And you guys know what CASE stands for, right? Copy and what is it? Now I've just forgot. That's too funny. Copy and share everything. Or copy and share. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so now we're just gonna pop this up. Well, first I wanna put this on here first. So I want this to be just about like that. Where is my other piece here? So I'm just kind of measuring where we're gonna pop this up on. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Now I'm just gonna glue the top here. You don't want to go down too far. Oops, oh shoot. Shoot. There. See, no glue on the back here. Then again, I'm just going to position it. I just want to see where it's at. And before we pop these up, let's do this. Now I die cut this. This is like a little chevron out of, it's in our dies for this bundle. But you can see it doesn't really cut it all out. So I'm just going to cut this right along that score line that the die cut left. And I could probably do this a lot better if I had my glasses on, but I don't. And we're just gonna, again, just trim that off. And you can see here at the bottom, if I hold that up there, you can see that little line. So we're just cutting right into that line. Right there. All right. So let's get that out. And I'm going to position this kind of right to the edge of this card, because remember, we're going to mount this on our card base. I'm folding these over a little bit more. I really want them to fold over. Okay, there. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to add glue right to the back of this. Since it's going to be layered underneath the circle, you could probably use a mini glue dot if you wanted to, but I'm just taking my glue and just adding a little bit of glue here. You're not going to see that. get my glue out. And we're just going to pop that down right about there. Oh, hi, Denise. Yes, you love the colors. So do I. Now, Maheswari, I can't say her name. I wish I could. In fact, I think I'm going to add a little bit more glue here because I do want this to stay down. When she designed this, she did it back in, I don't know when she did it. Oh, she did it in January because that's when this came out, this set. And she actually used very similar, she used wild wheat, which I did not like that color. I had a hard time. But she used wild wheat and boho blue, and those were part of our ink colors, but they're gone now. So I improvised and used the crushed curry with the Misty Moonlight. So this is Misty Moonlight. Now I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down. I'm not popping it up because I've got other things on here that are gonna be popped up. So now we can go in with the glue all the way down. Okay. Just want to pop this up right here, just like that. And now we're going to put our little chairs on. I've got my Stampin' dimensionals here. I don't want my minis, I want my regular ones. So we only need one, because these chairs are pretty small. And then I'll put one on this fireplace. I think I can use a whole one on here. Yeah, I can. Okay, good. Bring my trash can in. And I'm just going to kind of position these down at the bottom of the trees. You want to make sure you're going to have enough room for your fireplace. So you got to just ever so slightly like that. Well, this one I put up a little bit more. That's okay. It so reminds me of my kids when we visit them when they go camping. We'll drive up wherever they're at and kind of visit with them. That's crooked, so I'm going to fix that. There, that's a little straighter. Okay. Now, for this, I'm just going to show you what I did. I don't do this often either, guys. I'm not like I'd hate fussy cutting, but I'm just going to cut this up. And just doesn't have to be straight, doesn't have to be perfect. That's kind of what makes this a little more unique. So we've got that. Now I'm going to do my adventure one. And this is pretty tight, so you want to just kind of wiggle your paper snips around a little bit. And get that in there. And I'm going to take a little bit more off of this side. There we go. Get these out. Now I think I'm going to use my mini dimensionals for this. Okay, where are my minis? Just had them. Here they are. Here they are. So it's sunny and 94 in Washington, Joan? Are you serious? That's hotter than here. it's going to be like 87 here. So I'm going to use 2 of these little dimensionals. These are the minis. And you know what I did? I actually, on this one, you probably can't see it. I used the black mini dimensionals, but this is fine. I forgot I used them. I don't use those black mini dimensionals that often. So I thought, oh, I have them. I might as well use them. So let's see. We're going to position this over here. And I kind of slanted this one. Oops, upside down. Okay, we got to fix this. Yep. I need more room. So I'm just taking my take your pick tool and kind of nudging those little dimensionals off a bit, because I got to move these over. Okay. So we'll go ahead and put this one back on. So I'm going to move them much closer to the edges here. I'll put this down here a little bit. And then I'll put this one over here. A little bit further up. There we go. Now that's better. So let me get a little dimensional on here. There we go. We'll use one more here. Make sure these stick real good. And then I just angled it. So it's not like it's, you know, straight. Put one more on here. We're almost done. Oops. And then I kind of angled this just the opposite direction a little bit. Okay, so that's that. Now I've got a little, I already tied this. This is linen thread. It's a little bow. And I'm just going to attach it. Actually, I'm going to pull these tails down a little bit because I want it a little smaller. Especially that one. And then I'll trim this. I love my linen thread. I use it quite a bit. That's a supply that you need to have in your stamp arsenal. Then I'm just going to get a little mini glue dot. Actually, I'm going to use these other ones. These are smaller. Here we go. And I'm going to just pop that up right here. There. And now we're going to go ahead and just layer this on top of our card base. And then we just have to stamp on the inside. I need to add some dimensionals here, and we'll be done. Linda, you use your linen thread a lot too? So do I. I just love it. So I'm just going to put this on, kind of even that up, press it down a little bit, make sure it's on there good. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of these. These are the low profile sparkle dots. And I thought they were just adorable. They're very pretty. They have a little sparkle to them. So I used a couple of the little tiny ones here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Just You can use as many as you want. I'll put one over here. Right there. Okay. And then lastly, what did I do on the inside? Oh, I stamped the trees. That's right. Okay. So let's give me this back. Get this back. Go ahead and stamp. I'll use Mossy Meadow, Crushed Curry, and Cherry Cobbler. Okay. I'll do the first one here. Mossy Meadow. I gotta clean that off. And then I'm gonna do the little tree in Crushed Curry. I'm gonna get them pretty close together. Okay, and then one more in Cherry Cobbler. Okay. Now I'm stamping off on you know, so that it's coming off of the paper a little bit. There we go. Okay. Let me wrap this up. We'll go ahead and adhere this on the inside. I just think this set is so adorable. Use my glue. You can use your Stampin' Seal. I have my Stampin' Seal next to me, but I need to replace the little thingy in it. I haven't done that yet. Okay. So this, we're just gonna go ahead and lay this right in here. Make sure we get a good border around it. And there we go. There are our two cards for the second card. I love how it kind of came out. I love this roughing up the edges piece, and yeah, a little different for me, but I love the colors. So thanks you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and have a great rest of the week. I won't be live on Friday, but I am going to post the final video on Friday. So oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I love doing this. So you guys have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.